What's up? Welcome. This is UD Builders. We are working on this house here. We're going to be doing the front porch and the back porch. In this video, we're going to be showing us cutting, digging, installing sonotubes. It's just me and my dad. Mainly, we get some help pouring the concrete, but really it's just me and my dad that are building these homes here. And I decided that we ought to do a video on us doing these sonotubes, just specifically the sonotubes. We end up using an auger. We use our vacuum a lot. We've already got these marked out, so check out the video in the series from before. You'll find that on our UD Builders channel if you want to see how we got to this point. But either way, I've already done one video on sonotubes, and apparently people freaking care about them a whole bunch. I don't know if it's because people don't know how to do them. I don't know if it's because it's concrete and people really like concrete, watching other people do concrete. I don't know what it is, but either way, I decided to make another video about this, and I hope you learned something. I hope there's something here that you like, and leave a comment on it. But either way, here we go. And wow, okay, so I created this video a little while back, and I forgot about the situation that we ran into. Our auger was having a hard time staying exactly where it needed to be to dig the hole. I don't know if this happens a lot to other people. It seems like it's because we compacted that dirt, and so it had a hard time just getting a start point or going on the start point. Because when we go into, natural earth, natural dirt, that was already there, it digs just fine. We were able to put pressure on it and it's able to go right in. So yeah, I forgot all about this. So either way, we did find a way. I remember what we did. Hopefully, yeah, okay, I put my camera down so we can see here. Yeah. We're gonna hurry and dig out a little bit. He's gonna chisel out the sides a little bit. What we're gonna do is we're gonna end up putting our sonotube on here, and we're gonna be using our vacuum. We got a vacuum trick that we use. It was kind of controversial in one of our other videos of just using a vacuum. People think that it's kind of a waste. Other people like it. But either way, we're going to hop into that. We're going to get our sonotube. We just got it from our local hardware store, and we're going to get this thing marked out. 30. I'm using a pencil this time. I usually use a marker. I'm going to mark this every 4 to 6 inches around this sonotube. We're going off of the factory cut because obviously they're going to have a much better cut than we would have, So sonotubes, we're digging down 30 inches. As you can see, I'm marking 30 inches. We may go down a little bit more than that, but as long as the sonotube is holding up the top part of the hole that we create, it's going to work just fine. It's going to do its job, keeping that dirt from caving in, especially on poor day.
Looks square. Looks square right here.
Now we almost got that all marked out.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
And now he's going to cut it with the skill saw.
I'm gonna move this.
And this is the best way to mark and cut sonotubes. I think that we may end up putting paper. We do paper sometimes to try to make our lines straighter so that we can see better as we cut. Because we have that 4-inch gap. And those sonotubes, always, the way they wrap them, if you follow their lines, you'll end up with a spiral. So it's almost better to make the line with the paper. I know that we do it at one point. Okay, sweet. So now we have our sonotube. We're going to go put it exactly where we're going to have that sonotube sitting at. I'm gonna throw in the vacuum and we're gonna dig this sucker out. I love using the vacuum when we do sonotubes. Obviously it's a little bit harder when you're going into something you just compacted like road base. A little bit easier to go into natural, but either way, this is how we go. This is what we're gonna do. Also, at the end of this video, I want to go through some of the comments, some of the highlights from the last Sonotube video that I did. And most of the highlights are either really good video, really dumb video, or the music sucked. Like, I would say like 50% of them was the music sucked. So I'd like to go through some of those comments. I've never done this before, but I think it'd be a lot of fun. And I'm not comments don't bug me at all. I actually really enjoy them. So either way, stay tuned for that at the end of the video. Yeah. What you're gonna end up seeing here, the more that I'm watching this, the more that I'm remembering what we did. We try to get this sonotube to go down as far as we can, and we don't quite make it. I mean, we end up using a flat bar to kind of scratch at the sides so that we can pound the sonotube down. We end up using this digging bar to scratch the sides down so we can get the sonotube to go down. What really helped the most is, those things helped, but also what helped is when my dad will end up standing on it, or I don't remember who, stands on the sonotube and the other one hits it with a single jack. And that seems to help the most. It kind of squishes your sonotube, so you're going to want to put a 2x4 on there and kind of twist that 2x4 as you go. But that is what ended up helping the most. And then we end up cutting off the top part of our sonotube.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and another thing that we did with the sonotubes is we had all of our dirt work ready and done and ready to go before we ended up attempting, with the auger to put in the sonotube. Our pour is gonna be 4.5 inches thick here in the front. No, actually we might be 5.5 inches thick with this front porch. But either way, we had all that dirt work done and in place, strung it out, got everything done and ready to go. Before we do put in these sonotubes. And that's my dad right there. He's using an oscillating tool. We call it the fin tool, but really it's just an oscillator to cut that sonotube out. Have a good blade, but you're gonna hit rocks and a bunch of dirt and crap, so be ready for that blade to be dull by the time you're done. But perfect. That sonotube's ready to go, ready to rock and roll. So we'll hop into the backyard here and work on this back porch. I'll get him exactly where he wants to be for digging, and obviously it's just going to jump to the side. We thought we were going to end up having to do the sonotube dig with the vacuum here again because of that, but then it actually took hold and we were able to dig it out. So, things we like to do with the auger. After the auger goes all the way down as deep as you want it, and we're going around 32 inches, I believe, I like to rake around it so that all that dirt won't just fall back in. And as he lifts, obviously, he's gonna try to not spin, and he's gonna take that over and dump that dirt out somewhere else. And then I'll shovel out what I can. Obviously lifting that dirt out makes it so I can shovel less. Your shovel will work faster than the vacuum, but when it comes down to those little parts at the very bottom, the vacuum does the very best job, of course.
30 inches right there, so I mean, you're 2 inches. You go another 2 inches. No, this is gonna be okay. What? Where?
Hey, look, I do end up using a marker. I like the marker better because you can see it better, obviously. It was very hard for him to see the pencil lines. So yeah, I got the marker. And I do believe he gets the paper for this one, so we can get a straight line across all the way around this sonotube. We'll see. Yeah, so it looks like he's got some sanding paper there, something he just found in the trailer. And we're gonna mark a straight line all the way across this sonotube. Using the paper is just a simple, easy, straight line maker. It works great, and you know, most people have a piece of paper somewhere on the job, so you don't need to complicate it. Oh, that sonotube looked like it was going to slip all the way down there. All right, so the best thing to do when your tube doesn't go all the way, what we like to do is we're just going to jam that sucker down there as far as we can. Having someone stand on it with the pressure as you hit it with the single jack is, we see, is the best method at the moment. I mean, if you got a better idea, let me know. I'm sure there are things that we could do, but honestly, what we did right now, right here, we're going to cut this top off, but we made it so that top isn't going to collapse, especially during our pour. And that's what you want your sonotube for. You're probably not going to collapse at the bottom, obviously. You're not going to collapse down there. So really, the sonotube's going to do its job, even though it looks like it could go down another 8 to 10 inches. So we use our fin tool here again, and we just cut around this bad boy, and this side will be ready for the pour. Okie dokie, so I'm gonna go through the comments from the last Sonotube video that I did. It was the first video that I had made, and I really enjoyed it, and I got a lot of comments from it, so I want to go through a few of my favorites that I had gotten. So from Veronica Jerry 136, sorry if I said that wrong. She says, thank you, blah, 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 blah. I was under the impression that timber brackets had to be installed higher over the concrete, leaving a decent gap where the pipe is visible. That's how I usually see it, and thought it had to do with preventing rotting, but you seem to have installed these brackets very close to the concrete with barely any gap. Is that up to preference at this point? Yeah, it's kind of a preference. We live in and the summers are really hot where we live. It's central Utah, and the winter, it snows, but there's really not that much moisture here, especially right in the valley that we're in. So we weren't really worried about water issues at all. We're really more worried about looks, so it was more of a preference to keep that lower. Now, if it was part of the house, we would have raised it a little bit, unless it would have been covered in brick. Then, you know, it can be flat all the way to the bottom, and we might have used a different post base. But yeah, it's really up to preference. Rough cut lumber ended up getting put on those, and it was just a little outside building outside of the house. So it really didn't matter too much on what we picked. So okay, so Alfie 2744. Thanks for the tips. Question: no gravel or rock at the bottom before the concrete pour? Pros and cons of doing that. Really, I'll go on the con. There's no reason to. That ground has been there forever, and no one at this site, no one brought in any dirt, especially right there, and so it was naturally compacted. So you're really wasting your time. There's no purpose to have that rock underneath. You just fill that with concrete right there, and that's what I got for you. Thanks, Alfie. Okay, so right here we've got Kochi 9 months ago. This is the first video I've seen someone set the post anchors like that using a temporary 2x4. I think that's brilliant. I was worried about wet setting them and having them not be lined up. This seems like a great way to ensure to keep them straight and lined up. If you haven't seen my first concrete Sonotube video, check it out. That we got a lot more tips there. But either way, Kochi, this is the first positive comment that I had received, it felt like. The rest were like, the music sucks. I'm very grateful for this comment. Yeah, the 2x4 works great. Make sure it's straight, no crown, no twist, and it's gonna work out just great. So either way, thanks, Coachy. Awesome, thanks for checking out the video. Next, we're gonna be forming and doing rebar. I hope to see you there. Thanks, bye.